What are you doing down there, Scooby? Scooby wants me. He wants to play. Okay, we got the crank done finally. Okay, now we got to put it in these cases right here. So before we can do all of that, we're going to have to do a little checking on our fitment here of our tipping bearing. And that pretty much has to be assembled to check that, so we're just going to have to assemble it. So we'll check that out, see what it feels like. And the main bearing, which is over on this side, I already checked, which was, I think we're using these ones here. There used to be two of these floating around. There's the other one. That's the set we're going to use versus the old set over here, which we're not going to use. Alright, so I already preset some of this stuff up. The oil pump's all cleaned up, so it's ready to go. The bolts here for the case, I'm not sure where we're doing on that, so before I snug them up, we're going to have to check that hardware out. So next thing I do is put the crank in. So the first thing I do with the crank is I need a holding fixture, which is one of those two up there. So S&S gives you two holes right here that are small, and Osborne has two holes here that are small, which are narrower than these ones here. Harley has two big holes right here that are small, so naturally they don't copy Harley. So Osborne's a pain in the ass to deal with. So Harley flywheels have big holes that are widespread, which are somewhere in there should be some flywheels. Of course I don't see them. There's a set up there. Scooby, you're in my way. So see how these have fat holes here, wide spaced. Or not wide, excuse me, narrow spaced. So all your Harley wheels are like that. So we have two different jigs. We have fat ones that are close, and we got small ones that are wide. And this is the S&S one. So this here we just hold over here. That's how we do it. Yes. Got that all finished up?
Yeah, it's pretty much. I got little fingerprints on it now. Got little light scratches, but when you pump at it before you put it on the bike.
Foam pad it?
No, just like.
I ain't foam pad or nothing. I'm just gonna.
Oh no, just put it on the bike.
I'm gonna put all my filthy fingers all over it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna slam that pig together.
Okay, slam it together.
Alright, so that looks good.
It looks a lot better than it did.
You can almost see yourself now.
Yeah. Well, you can see yourself once you pump at it.
If I quit putting my fingers all over it?
Yeah, maybe.
Alright. So that goes on this bike.
Alright.
Alright, thanks. Alright, so this is what a shocker this motor goes on that bike too. We're going to be giving these a color buff after we're done to get rid of some of the marks in the cases here. The Altic cleaner. The cases are clean, that's the important part. Okay, so I'm going to get back to that. I got to work on that. So, got to deal with that. So, hold that in the vise. Wiping the dirt off is very important. Okay, next thing is we need our tools down here that pull it together. So we have a bigger twin and a smaller twin supports the difference is the hole size. So someone want to know where you buy this stuff. Jim's makes it. These are not Jim's. These are some kind of an import copy of Jim's that I modified, made better. Put a bearing in here so it works better in the brass washer. Basically upgraded it. So you can get your own wherever you want. If you want to spend lots of money, I can sell you one. Have to buy from Jim's though. Alright, so whatever you do not want to push the crank in the case, because if you push on this crank, then we'll slide this together. Screw up the shroud. So this tool here goes on here. Screws onto the crank, and then it pushes the bearing onto the crank. It does not push the crank into the bearing, which will press with it. Big difference in those two things. This here, all the pressure is between here and that bearing. And you're not going to hurt this piece from here to here. If you push on the crank, you take this whole thing and collapse, and that the whole thing is being worked and it moves all over the place. So don't screw up your crank. Very important. Now this washer goes in between your bearings here, and that's what sets the in-play in the bearings. So you change this washer to get different in-plays. Harley says 1 to 3 thou. or at least 0, but it feels like there's something. Me, I like them at least at 2 or 3 minimum. I like a little bit of clearance. The more hot rod in the motor, the more clearance. My race bike, it goes clunk, 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 like that. It's real easy. So if you want to run at 8,000 plus RPM for distance, you better make sure it's loose, not tight. Otherwise, it will become loose when it breaks. Because it will break. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, let's put a little oil in here. This makes it harder to check the in-play because the oil kind of masks it. I don't put together dry, so I'm just going to get oil. Okay. Try not to drop the crank. Important. Since it's true, it's nice to keep it that way. Now that one's pretty hard to move, so you can bounce around a little bit and it'll hurt it. But you gotta make sure you don't do it. Okay, don't forget to put this piece in there. Very, very important. If you don't know what it does, watch my buyer beware video, and that's what happens when you don't have the washer in there. Nothing good happens, believe me. Okay, we'll take this case here and we'll go ahead and snap the bearing races, because I don't like dry parts. This has already been cleaned, so many times. The last times with the ultrasonic cleaner. And my steel workbench is not hurting these cases, despite what dumbass comments keep saying. And this is an echo chamber. It makes noise. When you lay your face down, you're not dropping it, you're putting it down. If you're dropping it, that's called dropping it. That's called putting it down. A little different. See, that's not dropping it. See, it makes noise. So if dumbass needs earplugs, put earplugs in, you won't hear it. There's only about 80 you keep telling me that, so screw you. Okay, so once that one's in, we already got the washer in over there. Remember, we put that on the shaft already. So you get that on the shaft as soon as possible so you don't forget. So then you go ahead and lubricate this. So you put the oil right in there and it kind of falls in. It's a Timken bearing. Once you see the oil in there and it's lube, now you can put it together. And what's the first thing you do when you go put the bearing on? Let me see. Oh, make sure the washer is in there. See that washer is in there already? Before you put a bearing in, always make sure the washer is down in there. I don't care if you just did it like I just did. Always look to make sure there's a washer in there. Very, very important. Okay, now we take this tool. Let me go over here and use it. Okay, so this is stock. This I made. Those I put in. I didn't make the bearings, but I put them in there. So they rotate really nice and freely. So this goes down and screws on in the crank just like that, and the tube pushes on the bearing. Now, see why I put that spacer in there? Because I didn't want to screw it down this far when you only need to go that far. Okay, once it bottoms out on all the threads, then you free it up. And you can go ahead and screw this on down. Then the bearing engages. Center it up, make sure it's straight. Give it a couple twists, make sure it's straight. Same deal. And once you do that, it should be enough. Now it should go straight in. Now I made this a little bit longer so it's easier for me to do it. You want to make sure the rods are over here between the holes where they belong. When this thing starts to get a little hard, come back, recenter it. You'd be surprised how much of a difference that makes. When you're all the way down, give it a good grunt. Okay, now you rotate the case back and forth a couple times, let the bearings kind of center. And you feel it real quick for clearance. He has a lot of clearance in this case. See the clearance? Now tapered roller bearings will drop down from gravity and lock up. So only the first couple jiggles is for true clearance, then it gets tighter. It finds a resting point. So to free it up, you got to rotate it a little bit, back and forth, once you turn with it. Not too hard, you want to be banging the inside of the rods up. So this has a lot of clearance in it. So this one's a little bit on the looser side, which is good if you're doing a race motor or a real high performance street motor. This guy's not going to be driving it that hard, so we don't want to be that loose. So let's recenter it up a little bit. Look at the bearings in here, look how much things kind of move. And you can hear it. Okay, so this needs to be like 1 thou smaller. Now, when you take 1 thou of the washer, you're taking more than 1 thou clearance out because it's on a taper again. It's more like a 2 or 3 to 1 deal. It's not 1 to 1. Okay, so now what I got to do is I got to go to the press out the flywheel, and redo it. First you got to take that tube off. And all this does is hold the turn shaft so you can do it out. Okay. Press out the flywheel, put it right on the edge of the case, and you push the crank out the center so there's no load on the crank itself. Don't let it drop onto the press either. Alright, one case off. Crank backing stands. And the washer. Alright, so here's our washer. If you make it thicker, you gain clearance. You make it thinner, you lose clearance. We have too much clearance. So you need a micrometer or a pair of calipers to measure these things. Okay. So I keep every one I come across. Customer gets all his parts back except for this. I steal them because I need them. Okay, so what I gotta do is measure this. See how thick it is. Okay, this one is down just about 106. You can see right here it's lined up on 6, so it's a 6. Measuring a couple spots to make sure where it's at. Yep, pretty much 5.9 all the way around. So you grab a few of these baggies. Have more. These are 2s and 3s. This one's a 4. These are 5s. 5 would be less than 6. grab out a handful. Make sure you keep the one you got original all the way so you don't mix them up. And just measure these. We're looking for something that's on the down their ways. So these are 4.8 or so. That's more than I want to go. I'm looking for something that's 5 or 5.2, something like that. This one's right just a tick under 5. Okay, here's a good one here. This one's about 5.6 if you look at the number over there. That's not going to take out very much. That's a big one. Okay, this one's about 5.5, so that'll take out a half, probably about double. It'll probably take a thou in play out. I think we got more to work with than that though. Big one. My sweet spot's around 5.25 to 5.8. That's what I'm looking for. Seems like I'm not finding anything I like. There we go. Nope. Back up to half again. Yeah. That's the closest one so far. Here's another one. This one's pretty good. It's about 5.3 if you look at it, about a third of the way up the line to a quarter. It's about 5.25 right there if you can read it. I think that's going to be the one. Got one left here to measure though. And this one's another good one, so... Nope, this one got fat over here though. Surprisingly, a lot of these are not very surface, they're not the same thickness all the way around. Okay, I got two to choose from, so this one here is closest to what I want. So I'm going to use this one. So this is going to take out about 3/4 thou, 7/10 or so. So if you double it, it should take out about 1.5 thou out of my in play, which is probably a good starting point. So we'll try this one. Okay, so put that one up there on the crank. And put this one back together. There's no way of doing this not assembled because the bearings go over a shaft, they expand. The races go into the case, they squeeze. You can't duplicate whatever your conditions are because everyone's different. So there's no tool that you can just check in play with. Even though they make tools for doing that, it's bullshit. You can't do it. You have to assemble it like this to do it. All the way down. It's better, but it's still a tick loose. But a tick loose is good for performance application, which this actually is. So I don't know if you can see the difference between this one and what we just did before. It's still got some clearance in it. Hear it? So we didn't really seem like we really took all that much out, but we took out 3/4 of a thou of the thickness of the thing, so we took it out. So this can probably be tightened up a little bit if it's not going to be driven hard. The problem is you never know for sure how these customers are going to drive. They can always tell you what they're going to do, but in the real world, they're going to do what the hell they want to do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it at this point this way. Otherwise I can take another 1/2 thou out of this washer, which I had some other ones that were about a 1/2 thou smaller. So if I knew he was going to drive it slow and easy, I'd probably take the 1/2 out, but being a 93-inch motor, and you're probably going to drive it harder than you think you're going to drive it. You get going out there against your buddies with the twin cams, you want to go out and stomp their butt with a shovel, you're going to drive it hard. So, of course, I'd be shocked when it blows past their dumbasses, but oh well. Okay, so we're going to leave the slightly looser one in there. So this one we took out, which is basically a 6 in my opinion. So we're going to put this in the 6 pile, which is this one. And we're stealing his old washer. He's not getting it back. But I don't charge for the washer either, so there you go. It's a free exchange. We do it to make the motor live, not to make money. Okay, so those are good to go. Alright, those are back. I think it's heavier and heavier. Okay. Just putting this in there to help keep from scratching the aluminum on the steel work. Okay, so now we got this part together, and now we can go ahead and put the bearings on here, and then I can check put that case on it, check the actual in-play of the Timken bearing by feel. I'm also going to check the fit on this here while I'm at it, just to make sure it's what I want it to do. Okay, how many washers do we need here? No washers, just a snap ring. So you have a snap ring groove right here. And this takes the heavy snap ring, so that's the in-play right there. That's not enough room to put a washer in there. Now they make these shafts here in different locations where this snap ring groove is. So you don't know. I would think there should be a washer over here because you got the flywheel, you got a gap, and then you got the shaft. So when you put the bearing on there, it goes all the way in. Notice how the bearing is overlapping the end of the shaft. You want this bearing to be on the shaft, so there should be a washer there. But it doesn't look like there's room for a washer. Unless I make room for a washer. Doesn't want to go on there. Bearing does not want to cooperate. There it goes. Kind of wiggle these on. If you force them on, you can break the cage or something. I just don't see they're going to be Any room to put a washer on there? Nope. So even though I like to put a washer on there so it's not eating against things, see when I slide it up, there's no room for a snap ring over here. Not one of these big thick ones anyway. So, see the groove's pretty much buried. So I'm forced to go this route. When I don't like it, I'm forced to. That's what the mix and match of parts gives me, so not much I can do about it. So that bearing's going to tend to want to eat up the end of the shaft here a little bit if it gets loaded up real heavily. Here's my expanding tool. I'm not sure what they call these for, but they look good for these. Give you a nice heavy duty expander. Now, this tool's getting worn out, but I recut it here to help make it easier. I like to have the snap ring straight up and down when I do these. So you just expand it, push down. Once you get over the shaft, you push it into the groove with a plier. Hear it pop in. And you take the tool and see if you can slide it a little bit to make sure it is in the groove. It's in there nice and tight. And that's what you want it to be. If it's loose, it's no good. So these snap rings are extra thick and stiff, so they act like a thrust washer. They'll keep it from coming off. The earlier motors, they had two washers, one on the inside, one on the outside, and they had a thin snap ring that the thrust washer protected. When they went to this design here, they went to one big fat snap ring. So anyway, see how much inflow we got. We don't have a lot, so we're stuck with this design, like I said before. Okay, now you put the case on there and feel the clearance in the bearings. These are already fitted before, so they should be good, but you always double check. And that's just a matter of putting it on there and wiggling it. Obviously, if it doesn't go down, it's too tight. Okay, so now you pull it up a little bit, and you feel the wiggle wiggle. A little bit of wiggle wiggle on it. Good. So you blow it up a little bit, you might be able to see the case moving around. You lift up, so you got some play in it. You can also hear it. Okay, that's good. Okay, now I'll go ahead and pre-assemble it. And I'll figure out what our bolt selection is going to be. Now, I got to figure out how my bearings here. Look at bearings there. All surfaces get oil on them. And we don't have any dry areas. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember if I replaced this cam bearing or not. So I don't know if this is the old one or it's one I already put in. So there's a couple things I do. It's clean right now, so there's nothing in it. First thing you do is you make sure it rotates smoothly without any gritting feel to it. So this one's smooth, is nice and smooth. Next thing is you look at the bearings, the gap in the rollers here. Take a screwdriver and put a gap in there, and you can see the roller clearance in there. And when you got a big fat gap, that means every roller's got wear on it. When you got almost no gap, that means the rollers are almost like brand new. There's no clearance in them. So when you guys just kind of look at them, they look like the gap's pretty big. It's probably got some mileage on it. You can't see what the wear on the inside of the bearing is because it's behind the rollers. You can't see it. So this one here has a fairly decent amount of gap. I don't know if you can see what the gap is there on my screwdriver, but it's in there. So it's about 3/4 of a roller to half a roller. I think it's about half a roller. So when it gets to about 3/4 of a roller, it's pretty loose. Okay, the next thing is when I put bearings in, I always push the bearings flush to the surface here. If you notice, this one's below the surface, so that means I did not put this bearing in here. So this bearing was one that was in the case. Now, whether this motor's rebuilt recently, before I got it, so how many miles are on this bearing, I don't know. It's got some wear on it, not a lot, but it's a fresh motor. Do I want to risk using this bearing or not? My answer to that is, no, we're going to put a new bearing in it. More likely, there's probably nothing wrong with this bearing, but I don't want to risk it, and I doubt if the customer wants to risk it either. So for a $15, $16 bearing, it's not worth it. It's just one of those things you change out and don't worry about it. So I keep a whole bunch of these over here on the shelf for these reasons, because I always change the damn things out. So you got big twin cam right there is the one you want. So we'll go ahead and put this bearing in there and we'll be good. So there's what a new one looks like. Got a little bit of oil on them. I usually leave the original assembly lube in the bearing, because bearings usually come with bearing lube on them already. It's one of the few things I don't clean. Now if you stick your screwdriver in there and look at the gap, see the gap in the rollers on a brand new bearing. You wiggle it back and forth to make sure all the grease is out of the way, and you see the gap in the bearing roller. So is that about the same or different than what we had? It's a little bit less than what the other one was, but not a lot less. But anyway, I'm going to replace it either way. So it's probably okay, but why screw with it? Alright, so now you got to get the bearing out. You can press them out or beat them out. I usually beat them out with a hammer. These are my bearing removal tools. The only thing you do with a good metric socket is use some other tool. Beat shit with it. What am I good for? Okay, so you find the one that works the best. Not that one. And these are pretty much the same OD. I'm going to use this one. So we're going to use a plastic hammer to beat on it. Just make sure you don't have your fingers when you're going like that. It kind of hurts when you do it. And that thing is in there tight. That was in there really, really tight. Okay, so there's the bearing we took out. So now we can see the gap better. You see that's a lot more gap than the other bearing is. See? The rollers in there. Here's the new one. These have a gap too, but not as much as the other one. That's the only way you can tell. Can't measure it. Okay, this one I think is okay, so I'm going to put it back in the box over here. When you find stuff on eBay like this that looks brand new and cheap, and the guy's a moron, or at least he acts like he's a moron, you know it's a used part, dumbass. And it's selling as brand new stuff even though it's used junk. Especially by twin cam cranks. There's a lot of those out there like that. Okay, so now I'm going to push this back in. Okay, so I just find a pressing tool that's bigger than what the bearing is. It's smaller than what the case cutaway is, so I can push on it. So here's your case right here. So you gotta make sure this goes down there and sits flat on the case here, but doesn't hit on the shoulder or anything. It's not too big. So I'm gonna use this part right here. Scooby, are you trying to sleep over there? Scooby's over here. What are you doing down there? Huh? You laying on that cold fan blowing on you? Yeah, look at that dog. He's ignoring me. He's ignoring me. He'll follow me though, you just watch. Okay, so I'm going to take our bearing, our tool, that, and our case. I'm going to go over and work. So I'm going to push this together. Right there. Rotate this so you can see it, I can barely see it. Okay, bearings have a flat surface to work to and a round surface. This is the round surface, see it's round. Don't push on that side. This side's flat for a reason, that's what you push against. This side can break when you push on it. This side's made to push on. That's how they're made. Don't screw them up. The other thing you want to make sure is that the rollers are not laid over. You want the rollers to be vertical. If they're laid over like this and you push them in, it squeezes down, it locks the rollers up. So make sure the rollers are basically straight up and down like this. They still lock up too a lot of times, but you want to make sure they're free when you're done. If they lock up on you, just push it back out and redo it. Usually only does it once, not twice in a row. Bearing centers up as you go. Push it in flat. And then you make sure the bearing moves. I stuck my fingernail and it kind of moved it a little bit. We'll get over here, check this. Okay, first thing I do is get rid of our tools. When you're done with your tools, put them away. Got lots of tools in here. This didn't get put away yet either. So the stuff gets in your way, you gotta move it. Put that back. Jump sockets. All these are beating tools over here. So any of those things ever get used for. They're too crappy to use for anything else. They're made out of junk material. That's some of those $5 socket kits you get. They are good for something. They're good for beating on. Scooby's still sleeping over there, huh? Scooby's gonna get nervous down there, see? Okay, so now we come back. Take your screwdriver, make sure the bearing moves freely. Okay, see how it moves freely? That's what we want to see. Okay, that's a good sign. Next thing is you're going to take the cam out and make sure it fits in the damn shaft where it belongs. So it's a good time to make sure the cam fits now than later. Which cam we're using here? It's an Evo cam. It's an Evo 45 cam. So this is an EV 45 cam of some type. I think that's Billy's cam sitting there. So this is the new crane cam we're going to use. So it's an H290, which is a high lift, short duration Evo cam. I think it's like 240, 248 degrees. It's a good mid-range cam. Got the cop car races out front today. Okay, so here's our cam. There's another one. It's at 4 or 5 now. Okay, wipe this off, make sure it's clean. Here's what the road looks like. Here's another one. Yeah, they're blasting by out there. You can't see them from here. They like playing road racer or the donut shop's closing, one or the other. Okay, take your cam, make sure it fits down in here freely. Got lots of clearance, you can see it moving around. Nice and free. Okay, we want to make sure that's good. Okay, it's not tight, so that's good. Put that back in the box for now. We have to clean this before we use it. Okay, so that was our check on this right case. Now the last thing you can check if you want is to make sure that the oil pump shaft fits in the case. This one came out of this motor, so it should be good, but it doesn't hurt to double check. Turns it freely. Goes right in there. Okay. That stuff's hard to fix later. It doesn't hurt to check it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put the case up on here. All our checks have been checked. So before I go any further, I was like putting lube on my bearing. You know there's already lube in there, but it doesn't hurt to have extra. Besides, my lube's better, I think. Now people ask about balancing every now and then too. If you look at the holes right here on the outside of the flywheel, that means it's internally or externally balanced because it's drilled from the outside. That means it's spun balanced. You can't static balance like that. These flywheels over here, they're drilled on the inside. These are static balanced. See on the outside of the wheel, there's no holes. This is done statically. If you watch other videos, you see how I do it. Holes are on the inside. That's how you tell how they're balanced. So it doesn't matter how they say they do it. When they're on the outside, they're done dynamically. I prefer static. It's hard to beat Mother Nature. Gravity always tells you where things are at. If you're in outer space, it's different, but we're on Earth, so we deal with it here. That computer, I never trust supercomputers for much of anything. Bad input, bad answers. Gravity is always there, doesn't change. Okay, this bolts on now like this. Goes right down there nice and easy like it's supposed to. Under the bolts over here. Now we're getting away from these stupid Allen bolts, which look like crap. We're going to go into a stock bolt with acorn nuts. That's what we're going to do. And these are cut away for cylinder clearance, so we're going to make sure you put them back where they belong. So we're going to do a quick mock up here to make sure the bolts all work. And we have the right hardware. So this is our Allen bolts that right now we still have here. But I think I'm going to be changing these out here in a minute. But for now I can go ahead and use them right here just to hold it together. And check the length, so I know how much length I need to go find. One bolt. Okay, so these two here go right over here. One goes between the case here, and the other one goes back here. Now the way you know where they go is because when you cut off to the big bore right here, they cut into where the bolt goes, see? See how the big dot one cut into it? That cut in there a long ways. So, you gotta make sure you do it. Now you notice you got a small diameter here and a large diameter here. So which one goes where? Well, by the cut dimension, you see how that's low cut. You see how that's wide open? That means that thing is really overlapping. Look on the other hole, and that one didn't even go through. So the big one here goes in the center. This one is really, really small, it goes in the back here. Process of elimination, because both of these are the same length. So the other thing I check is the offset. You got to make sure that the offset matches the rod. See how this one doesn't match the rod right now? You flip it over 180 and put it back down. See how it matches the rod better? So this one goes in like this. So you got to check that out too. This one here doesn't look too bad that way, but you can see how it's pretty bad this way. Definitely doesn't work this way. So this one here we had correctly bladed up on this. So it goes on like that. So you just got to double check this stuff. Now if you have the cylinders on here and you try to take these studs out, it screws up the cylinder. That's why we had to put new cylinders on this motor. Whoever the other previous shops that were working on the motor screwed them up by beating the bolts in and out with the cylinders on. So they broke 2 cylinders. I don't think they've ever been run. So that was a $1,000 screw up on their part, which they didn't pay because the guy took the motor out of the shop. Okay, so now we take our hardware off here. Okay, we want one washer, one acorn nut, screw it all the way down, one washer, one acorn nut, screw it all the way down, see if it fits the case. Yeah, we're not even close. Okay, so we barely have any stud length at all, so we might not even be able to use a washer on this job. Okay, let's check the length again. Okay. Well, there goes the ambulance this time. Oh, there goes the ambulance. Okay, so we have about the height of a nut. So if you put a thin washer on there on both sides, you can see how many threads we got. You basically have about 1 diameter for threads, which is livable. There we go. Here's another one. Boom, 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 boom. That's a double ambulance. Maybe they shot 2 people. I ran them over. Who knows? You never find out. Okay, so that one goes on there like that. So that'll work. Now I'm going to check the hardware on this one. What we need on this bolt. Each one of these is a little different from the other, so now we're checking this stuff. Thought I had 4 washers on there. Okay, check this one. Okay, this one here is a little bit longer. It's not the bolts longer, the case is narrower. So we have a lot more threads. I screwed this one on about the same way as these other ones. But if you look at the case, see this here and this are about the same height. This one here is right on the gasket surface here, but you see this one here, we got an offset of a 1/4 inch further out. So this stud here should be a 1/4 inch longer, but it's not. That's why this one's extra length. Now, some bikes have a carburetor support on this side. Sometimes you got a speedometer cable bracket on this side or a clutch cable bracket on this side. So you never know which way it's going to be. where you want this thing to be. That's why when I cut this thing, I cut it where I can go either direction with it. Doesn't matter. So for this job, I'll just put it on center. I think we're going to wind up having a carb support on this side, so I'll probably put the extra material to this side here. But either way, we'll have plenty of room for this one on that. So that stud's good. These I'm going to get some hex bolts to go in here. So these two here are good. And now we go down to the next one's down. This is our little short one. It goes on the back side over there. These are our dowel studs. See how they're nice and thick? See how this one's thin, this one's thick. So the dowel studs go on the dowel case holes, which is this one and this one. See how they're bigger hole than this one? So that's where they go. Okay, so those I'm not going to beat into the hole, but I'm just going to lay them in there. So we'll put those right there. I'm going to put some new nuts on here. I'll put an acorn nut on this one here. A lot of times the acorn nut gets in the way of exhaust on this side. I'll go ahead and put acorn on both sides, just so we know. He likes acorn nuts, so I'm going to do it. Yeah, I checked my width. Width is kind of limited. But there is room for a little thin washer on both of these. So I'm going to put this one on here. There's room for a thin washer. So we're going to put acorn nuts and thin washers on both of these. So I'm going to get more of those, more hardware for you. Okay, so here's 2 acorn nuts. There's 2 washers. Let's see, I don't have enough for these other hardware now. See, it's all gone. These are regular nuts here. I got 2 more washers and that's it. Okay, this is another dowel stud that goes on the bottom down there. I'm going to take these old nuts off. And we'll have to duplicate the same thing on that one now. Okay, now we got this stud up here. So we got 3 things. I've got a short stud, we got a bolt, which can be put in there, but that's not going to what we want. And we have a stud. So this stud here will fit here. This should just slip right through, and it does. And you see there's not a lot of room for nuts on here, I mean washers, but I think we can put 2 thin washers like these again. But we need some more nuts. Okay, so we're going to keep this one, we need hardware for that one. And we got 2 washers. Okay, these are all the nuts we're not using. Okay, so we got, these are 2 dowels, we got this one, we got this one, we got that one. So we flip on the other side. This is a bolt here, we got this stud already handled. So we only got one more stud we need, it's this one right here. Which is a short one that goes right here. Now this one has 2 different style acorn nuts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these low profile acorn nuts over here on the exhaust side. So to clear the exhaust pipe. That gives us a little extra clearance. Unless we need it somewhere else. So this one here goes right in here. A bit of buffing rouge there or something. Whatever it was, it disappeared. Okay, so it looks like the same deal. A thin washer and an acorn nut would work. Now this case is really thin right here, so I'm going to probably just put the acorn nut and no washer, because the washer will stick way up and look kind of stupid. See how stupid that looks? Sticks way up in the air like that. So I'll just put the acorn nut on it so it's nice and clean. Like that, right up against it. Looks a lot better. This one over here, we got the same issue. Looks kind of stupid on there with the washer. So we'll just delete the washer. And see, it looks a lot cleaner. Over here we have room for a washer, so we'll put the washer. Okay. So you kind of just look at things how you do it. Okay, so we're not going to use this one now. And we're not using this hardware here either. Okay, so I need to go find me some hardware here to bolt the case together. So I'm going to go find that and I'll be back. Okay, here's our hardware. So this had the Allen bolt right here. I got the correct Harley bolt here, which is a 3/8 bolt with a 1/2-inch head on it that goes here. So these work correctly. This is a standard bolt here, which is a 3/8 bolt with a 9/16 head on it. So there's your difference in size right there. So the difference is when you put a 3/8 bolt in here, there's not a lot of room for a socket right here. This is the correct one right here. We got room for the bolt head in there. So this motor takes the correct early bolt. This is not the correct bolt. So those we don't use, these we do use. Okay, I got some little stainless steel washers right here that are really thin that work right here on the edge. Maybe you don't want to have them locked up on here. Check this out a second here. Okay, so now I'm going to put the washer on here. See, the washer doesn't stick out like the big fat washer did. That's where these chrome ones right here. So they're little stainless ones. They're quite a bit smaller diameter. So I can use the stainless ones right here on the edges where they're really thin, which is on this two here. And this one down here is really thin also. See how thin the cross section is? So wherever we run across a problem like that, I got the thin one I can put in there. So I'll use a couple of these. So I'll just mix and match as I go, as needed. So it gives me a little something to work to. Alright, so this is ready to go together. These stupid Allen bolts. I'll throw them away. Here's our hex head. Keep the large diamond ones and the big bolts. Yeah. Hard to do with one hand. Now they roll. Okay, so we're ready now to go ahead and take this apart and goop it up and put together for real. We're going to use my 3-bond sealer here. People keep asking what I use for chemicals. It's 3-bond 1184. And I use gaskets and sealer for the gaskets. Of course, that's the assembly lube right there. And you know what Loctite is, but even though they're different brands. Alright, so this is the gray crap we're going to use on that. Alright, so wasted enough time showing you how to do stuff. Time to get some work done. It takes me twice as long to do stuff when I'm explaining crap. Okay. Jump out of the way. Keep it rolling. Okay. Before I do that, you back, Scooby? Scooby's back. You down now? What are you doing? You hiding? Put in with the dog. There, look at that dog. Look at that dog. Okay, I want to check this magneto drive here. Make sure it just fits on my case, because I haven't checked it yet. Okay, it appears that it might work. Double check new stuff. Okay, so that should work. Okay. Now we take a rag, wipe down the gasket surface here, make sure there's nothing on it. Shouldn't be much on it because they also send it to clean this stuff. Still get a little bit of residue on things. Still getting that much coming off. Can't leave it very long to affect the polish. So 100% clean, but definitely pretty damn clean. So on the inside of the case, I don't get any black stuff. On the gasket surface, I get some black stuff. So the gasket sealer and crap. Okay. So the 3-bone, I use my finger as the applicator. You don't want to just go like this, like on stupid car guys do, like put a big layer of it, because it just goes everywhere in your motor.
What the hell is this?
Uh-oh. Are you sneaking up on me?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Alright, I got a rust break. I got dumbass just walked in. Alright, back to work. Got interrupted. Okay, so we're going to use our 3-bone sealer here. I'm going to use my finger to put it on so I don't put too much on. Because we don't want this stuff inside of your motor. Even though this stuff will tear up and dissipate if it gets in there, within reason. You still don't want it in your motor. So, just put a little bit on your finger like that. It's like toothpaste kind of, a little bit. Stick it on there. This is not silicone, so it doesn't cause silicone issues. Throw him, Scooby. A little bit on the crank, wipe it off. Basically just trying to get a little thin coat on here, nothing, you're not trying to build it up. You're just trying to get a coat layer attached to the surface is all you need. No extra. If you got a big gouge in your case, you need to fix the gouge. Sealer is not made to clear fixed gouges. Epoxy is made to do that. I'll do the other half. This stuff doesn't like having you go over it, so once you go past it, don't go back. Once it flashes off, it does not play friendly with each other, with itself either. So put whatever thickness layer you want on it first shot. Alright. So this layer, you see where it's on there just like that. You just lay it on flat. This side here we have a lip on it, so you got to push it in the lip by running your finger in there. So you put a little bit on your finger like this. You lay it up in here like this. And just lay it right in that groove there. And it puts a nice little thin layer on there. This is at just the right consistency right now, which sticks really good. It's about double the viscosity that comes with brand new, so it's nice right now. It's got the proper age to it right now. Tube's probably been open for about 4 months now since it's been cracked open. Okay. And it just wipes right off your finger pretty nicely. Not too bad. It wears off easily. Wears off too. Okay. Now, before it gets too dry, you go ahead and lay it on. I always put it just off center where you want it. You give it a small little slide back and forth to smear it in. And you leave it. These are dowel studs, so I'm putting little thin nuts over here where the exhaust gets into it. See, this one shouldn't be a problem. This one over here, I don't know, on both. Well, I'll put this on. I'll put a pull nut on the one on the bottom. It's usually not a problem down here. This one here, I'll put a low profile nut on. Okay, so these are dowel studs, so they center the case halves up. This didn't go in very hard. This one up here is the other dowel one, which is our fatter of the two. Figure which direction you're supposed to put it in there. It's either going to be this way or this way. It is not going to be that way. This one goes in the back. Check your direction with this one, that looks good. Those are 2 bolts. Getting started. I don't put any lock or anything on my nuts. I tighten them down tight. So you don't need any of that crap on there. And this one. This one, the washer sticks out quite a bit, so I'm going to leave the washer off. Even the thin washer sticks way up. Okay. Everything in there belongs, and we tighten it up. So you always want to tighten it down. Put a nut down here. Missed one. And you tighten the top one up here next. Then the two sides, the big bolts here. Come back and torque them good. Tighten the other one right here. That's what I do next. You get the little one here. Wrench back, and you got the front one over here. Okay, everything's tight. Make sure the crank turns over freely. It does. Okay, now if you want to check your torque, you can check the torque. Use a couple box wrenches. I don't usually check my torque because I know they're tight. Not exactly moving. Tight. That one's really tight. This is our smallest one, so we don't torque it too much. It keeps moving, but that's stretching the bolt, I'm sure. Not moving. Yeah, those are all tight. Zip gun makes them tight. Okay. Now you take a rag and wipe off the excess. You start up here in the front, side of the motor. You go across the top, and it just rubs right off. Make sure it doesn't fall inside the motor, whatever you're wiping off. Drop the rod. Alright. You can put a little bit of brake clean on here if you want, or if you want to make it clean a little easier. It just rubs off pretty easily. It's the same color as the case, so you don't really notice it. You just rub it back and forth a few times and it breaks up and dissipates and comes right off. So it's nice about the 3 bonds. Alright, flip it around to the other side. So blow this up a little bit, you can see it a little better. So there's the 3 bond right there. So you just go like this, it rubs off, see? What do you need, Ben?
Huh?
What?
I'm going to show you something.
I'm showing them
This is what
something.
acid will do for you.
Hold on, I'm on video here.
No. You don't want you to see it right there.
I'm showing how I'm making a mess here.
Whoa. You're making a mess?
I'm making a mess.
Well, make a mess then.
I did, and I wiped it off.
Well, hell, wipe it off.
That's what's nice about this stuff.
Right. That's what's nice about this.
You know, I can't stop just yet. I gotta
No. Just go do your thing, man.
gotta get the sealer off.
Oh, it's a sealer?
Yep.
Oh, you put it together, huh? Put the engine together.
Yeah, eventually I do put stuff together at some point.
Hey, funny guy.
Kind of rare that I actually get something done, but yeah, every now and then I actually do something done.
Well, pretty quickly you do it, huh?
How nice that sealer comes off.
That should
filthy
fall
red.
right
That's my
all the
problem.
marks. That's all the marks in that. That's why it don't shine right.
Hold on.
This one I might take with me.
How about this one?
That's it. It's shining pretty good, yeah. Whatever you put on it.
I put glue on it. Look at all the glue on here.
Whatever you put on it.
Oh, I missed a spot. Look at that.
Damn it. Don't do that.
That came off the protective thing on the floor here. So you're going to have to make this look like new after I'm done screwing it all up.
Yeah, we just don't do too much to it. That's right.
You just rub it around on the table.
Oh yeah, sure.
No problem.
Why don't you put it on a pad?
I had it on a pad. That's full of glue though.
No, not that pad.
Oh, okay.
What are these things that you stand on?
The rubber? Oh, that really makes it bad.
No, don't.
You know, all that grit and stuff gets in there and
Well, there, tables
it
off.
scratches everything up.
Yeah.
You can see that towels I just used to scratch up the polish.
Yeah. Oh, so we...
Alright, so there's what we got. So everything cleans up really nice and clean. I had that blown out, so I don't know how much you saw me working there. So, you see all the cedar just rips, comes right off nice and clean. That spot right there, or, no, that's not sealer. So anyway, looks nice and clean all the way around. Got plenty of fingerprints on it. So we have to clean this up a little bit or after it's assembled. Alright, so what are you looking at over here?
We're looking at a piece.
That looks horrible.
I know.
What did you,
no.
Did you fix that?
No. I didn't
Okay,
fix
good.
it.
I can see you didn't
But
fix
this
it.
is why I hit it with acid to show you the light marks.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we got to sand it again. Whoever did this before didn't sand it enough.
You mean the two people that worked on it before you
yeah,
that
the
screwed it all
two
up?
people that worked on it before me that screwed it
Are
way
not
up.
worth a squat is what you're saying.
Ooh, without a doubt.
Okay, good. It's a good thing that wasn't me.
Anyway.
I'm good at screwing these up.
Oh, that's good.
There's
Anyway,
marks on
we
there.
have to resand this surface sand it, get these pits out of it. Once you get these pits out of it, it should polish out to a mirror shine
Yeah,
without
but you
the
can't-
mark look.
Yeah, but you can't take all the metal out. There's nothing left.
I could take a little bit more off. I won't take that much off, but I'll take enough off to where it'll.
They've already been working on it a lot. So.
Well, they don't know what they're doing.
Well, yeah, we didn't say they didn't.
No,
Good.
I could sand this one time.
Just
and
because
get
you
it done
pay to
there.
get stuff done doesn't mean it's done right.
Yeah, I could sand this one time and it'll sand out really nice.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it, sand it. So you guys look at this real good now. Yeah.
Well, let's go look at the other one you're working on.
Yeah.
You've been here all night.
Yeah, about half a day.
You didn't do that. I did that. I know how to screw up my own stuff. I do my own polishing here. I make it dirty. That's how I do my polishing.
Yes, he does. The piece that we just did. All right.
Right there.
Okay. And then also too, same way with this one. Right?
So it's still a little foggy, but it's
But no, it's a little foggy. But we hit it with more.
a lot
We hit it
more
with a foam pad now.
foamy pad.
Man, we're taking this with us.
See, it's foggy, but you can still see yourself in it.
Yeah, you can actually see yourself now. This one.
This one here, I can't see much with it.
Now this one.
Did you screw up my drum already?
Yeah, I screwed it up already. What I did with this is I sanded it one more time, hit it with acid, and now I'm just buffing it right back out. And it is going to come out a lot better than it was. A lot better.
Ain't anything there yet.
Hmm?
You got water there.
No, that was acid water.
Okay. Remember it's
We
polished.
we blew it off, but
Remember it's polished everywhere. So.
oh, it'll be polished again everywhere.
All right.
I might take this one with me too.
Whatever.
But this will turn out really nice.
Well, when it's all done, I got to put a wheel together. So.
Yeah, I should be done with this tomorrow
Okay.
or the next day. Anything else you want to take?
So he's doing all. He's using all this buffing shit.
Buffing shit.
Buffing shit.
Yeah. Well, it's different things. You know, you got a Levi pad, you got Dremel pads, you got these are cutting wheels.
How about my dirty rag? I lost my dirty
Yeah, your
rag.
dirty rag.
I'll use your dirty rag.
I don't know what my dirty rag is.
Yeah, you stole mine probably.
There you go. There's my dirty rag.
How about there's a dirty rag? There's a dirty rag right there. Look at that. There's a dirty rag. That's a dirty rag right there.
There you go, buddy. Have a dirty rag.
I got enough dirty rags. This bike fell apart today,
Okay, you're doing something now, babe?
so we're getting some work done. Not much.
No, you said you
All right, that's it for today.
That's it for today? Good.
Ben, the polisher's done for the day.
Yeah, I'm done for the day.